This is a step-by-step roadmap for turning your YouTube channel into a six-figure business from scratch, which I've put together after 4 years of working with hundreds of educational YouTubers in all kinds of niches, including Ali Abdaal as his head of YouTube for 2.5 years while his business generated over $10 million, as well as helping YouTubers like Rainer, who helps Americans move to France, and Justin, who teaches biology, to make over 6 figures from their channels too. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through this roadmap, which is the exact system that they've all used to get there. And you can implement this no matter where you are in the journey. And this is the same system that I've used to turn this channel with only 18,000 subscribers into a 6-figure business too. And quick thing, every single thing I talk about in this video and more is also covered in a free 100-page book that I've written, which is like a companion to this video. It's called The 100K YouTuber, and you can download it with the first link in the description. And you can also choose to print it off, like I have, if you prefer to read things on paper. Now, step one. So this is quite intuitive, but it's also so fundamental that I have to include it in this roadmap, which is that to build an online education business where you're teaching stuff on YouTube, you need to have learned something in the first place so that you can teach it. So step one is very simple. It's just to learn something. And for every step in this video, I'm also going to tell you how to do that, how to reach the next step. And so to make it to step one, where you've learned something, the thing you need to do is learn to follow your curiosity. And that's because you don't want to build one of these YouTube businesses around something that you're not passionate about or not interested in, because it's not fun to make YouTube videos about something you don't care about. Now, here are some examples of different things that you could teach on your YouTube channel. So we've got Simon here, who teaches guitar. We've got Andrew, who teaches how to become a live sound engineer. We've got Adam, who teaches how to become a more creative pianist. We've got Igor, who teaches how to build a career in data science. And we've got Henry, who's 19, and he teaches people how to revise and pass their exams in school. Or Marguerite, who teaches people how to do collage art and art journaling. Who knew that was a thing? Or Marianne, who teaches people how to paint. Or David here, who teaches people how to do perspective drawing. Or Zen, who teaches people how to build careers in AI. All of these guys have followed their curiosity and learned something enough to be able to teach it on their YouTube channel. And you don't have to be a world-class expert here. You don't have to have infinite knowledge. You just have to be able to teach someone a few steps behind you how to get to where you are. The best channels are ones where you've achieved a transformation and then you're teaching people how to achieve that same transformation as well. Now, an important point here is that not all niches are equally monetizable. Typically, niches where you're teaching someone how to accelerate their career or make more money are going to be easier to monetize, because if you're getting people jobs in software engineering or AI or data science or something like that, people are typically going to find it easier to spend money with you because you're helping them make more money. But if your channel is based around a hobby of some kind, like piano or guitar or drawing, it might be a little bit harder. But it definitely doesn't mean that it's not possible, but it is helpful to have an example of someone who's already successful teaching the thing that you want to teach, because that way you can get inspiration and copy their model. You get 0 points in business for reinventing the wheel and trying to do something that no one's ever done before, unless you're Elon Musk, but I don't think you are. Now moving on to step 2. So you found something that you want to teach, that you're passionate about enough to make videos about. Then step 2 is to teach consistently on YouTube, ideally 2 to 4 times a month. So the thing that we need to learn how to do here, before we worry about growing our audience, is to learn to make videos. So the best way to approach this is to commit to some kind of schedule. And I would recommend one of these 2 things. Ideally, you post once per week on YouTube. Now that's because if you want to get better at something, you need to do it consistently. And posting less than that will just reduce the rate at which you learn and which you get better. Now, if you can't post once a week for whatever reason, that's fine. You can post every 2 weeks, but I wouldn't recommend posting any less frequently than that, because you just won't learn the skills fast enough. And we need to learn a lot of skills at step 2. We need to learn how to talk to a camera. We need to learn about titles and thumbnails. We need to learn about how to write a good intro, how to write a good script, how to get our videos edited, how to understand the platform of YouTube. There's a lot of stuff to get used to. You can scroll back and look at some of my oldest videos on this channel. I am absolutely terrible at making videos. I have no idea what I'm doing. And the difference between those and the ones now is quite remarkable. It's embarrassing making those videos and it feels a bit cringe, but it's just the price of entry into this game. So you just have to get over it. And do not worry for at least 20 videos, 30 videos about growing your audience at all. Just focus on the skill of making good videos. Even after 20, 30 videos, you're not going to have made enough to be really good, but you'll have gotten over the hump and have learned a good amount about how to make a good video. Now, after we've done that, we can move on to step 3, which is growing our audience to 1,000+ views per video. And the way that we do that is by learning YouTube strategy. Now, there are many people on YouTube who teach YouTube strategy, and there are multi-million-dollar businesses that have been built just around steps 2 and 3, teaching people how to make good videos and how to get more views on YouTube. And I was part of one of those businesses while I was working with Ali Abdaal inside the Part-Time YouTuber Academy. But ultimately, the fundamentals are relatively straightforward, and you don't need to invest in any course or program to be able to learn how to do it. although that might potentially speed up your journey. The fundamentals are that we need to get people to click and we need to get people to watch. So on YouTube, the viewer comes onto the platform and they have to click on videos before they watch them. So we need to get good at making those little titles and thumbnails. But ultimately growing on YouTube and running a good YouTube business comes down to three simple things, which is capturing attention, keeping attention, and converting attention. So capturing attention is all about understanding titles and thumbnails, because when viewers come onto YouTube, before they even watch a video, they have to click on it first. So we need to get really good at choosing the right videos to make and then representing that idea in a good title and thumbnail. That's a whole skill in itself. And that's a big part of YouTube strategy. But once you've got someone to click, we need to figure out how to keep their attention, how to educate them well enough that they want to keep watching because they're learning so much from you. And then at some point in your video, you also need to direct these people's attention to your other stuff, to your other free things that you can offer them, or potentially your paid offer, which we'll talk about later in this video. But we need to send those viewers that have come to our channel somewhere so that we can build our business. And we do this in a nice way, so our viewers aren't even annoyed by it. And if I could give one big piece of advice for step 3 for how to grow your audience on YouTube and implement the basics of YouTube strategy, it would be to study YouTube, study the platform, and in particular, study the other channels in your niche that are performing well. Because if they're performing well, then they're doing things right. And we don't just want to copy these channels, but we want to learn from them, see what they're doing well, see what inspiration we can get, and see how we can be better than them. But even more importantly than trying to be better than other channels, we want to be different. How can we be different? Because on YouTube and every social media platform, so much has been done now. So the only way to stand out is to be different, is to be yourself, is to bring your own point of view. So that's a really big thing. Study the platform and then bring your own point of view and your own spin on this particular topic. Now, an important note here about step 3 is that as you come to grow your audience, as it gets bigger on YouTube, you have an important decision to make about how to monetize your audience. And you can either choose to monetize through sponsors, affiliates, and AdSense, which is going to be a lot harder because you need lots of views to do that. Lots of YouTubers do operate like this, but you just need quite a big audience to build a successful 6-figure business through those 3 things. But the other option is to operate more like an actual business where you sell something directly to your audience and it helps them even more, but they have to pay for that privilege to work with you. And that's what we're going to be talking about in the rest of this video, because it's just a way more efficient monetization model. And it also means that you're creating a sustainable, scalable business that can endure beyond YouTube as well. You can monetize it through other platforms if you build an audience there. Whereas if you're just operating on YouTube and monetizing through sponsors and affiliates and AdSense, it's just a bit of a content hamster wheel and it's not a very fun business to be in. Cool, so now we're posting regularly on YouTube, our audience is growing, and we'd come to steps 4 and 5, which are both about email. Now, why is email important? Well, there's 2 very simple reasons. So the first is that when I post a YouTube video, I don't definitely know that YouTube is gonna show it to you. But when I send you an email, I know that it's going to appear in your inbox. Whether you open it or not is another thing, but I definitely know that it's going to appear in your inbox. And your inbox is somewhere that you check regularly and that you go to read other things. So you're going to see this email in your inbox. And what that allows me to do is to de-risk my business a little bit. I'm not so reliant on YouTube that if the algorithm changes or people start watching my videos, I've still got an email list that can endure beyond YouTube, and I can still connect with my audience, which is really, really important. And the second reason is that in a lot of online education businesses, over 50% of revenue is generated through email. And that's because you can get directly into your viewer's inbox, you can provide a ton of value, build the relationship, and you can create curated launch campaigns, and you can consistently mention your offers and products at the bottom of your emails. There's just so much you can do with email that you can't do with YouTube. So it's going to be a big part of your business. And from day 1, you can start collecting email subscribers. So step 4 is to grow your email list to 1,000+ people. And the way that we do that is by learning to create great lead magnets. So a lead magnet is just where someone enters their name and their email to get a free thing that you are sharing with them, although it's not free because they're giving you their name and email. And what that allows you to do is then contact them in the future. But we have to make our lead magnets really, really good. So like I've done in this video, the first link in the description takes you to the 100K YouTuber roadmap, which is a really useful document that if you actually read, will give you a ton of value. So your job is to make a really valuable, completely free resource that you can share with your audience. So it could be a free guide, it could be a free online course, it could be even a free quiz that people find super interesting and insightful to take. But you've got to make one and then mention it in your videos and start collecting email subscribers. Now this brings us to step 5, which is actually optional at this stage because it can be a little bit overwhelming if you're also working a job and trying to make YouTube videos. But the step is to write great emails 1 to 2 times every week. Send them to your email list. And the way that we learn to do that is by learning to write. Now, obviously I can't teach you how to write in just one YouTube video. It comes with a lot of practice and it's hard to do this well, but ultimately learning to write well, learning how to do copywriting in particular, is going to be responsible for you generating thousands and thousands of dollars in your business. Now, as I said, this is an optional step. You can come to it later in your business when you've actually got an offer to sell, which is what we're going to be covering next. Okay, now we're going to move on to step 6, which is the beginning of the process where we're going to build a product that we're going to sell to our audience, to people in our audience who want to get more help from us, not in a scammy way and not in a kind of salesy way. We're going to build an amazing product that is going to help our audience even more and going to take us to 6 figures and beyond. And so this all starts with step 6, which is understand your audience. And the way that we do that is by learning to collect data. So we're going to collect loads of data about our audience, and we ultimately want to find out 3 really, really important things. So the first is called their current situation. This is, where are they now in their journey with this thing? So if you're teaching guitar, what level are they at? Are they beginner? Are they intermediate? Are they advanced? And to go a bit deeper there, where specifically are they in that journey? That's their current situation. Then we want to figure out their desired situation. So where do they actually want to get to? What's their goal, their desired outcome? What is the transformation that they're looking to make? And then the third thing is, what is stopping them making that transformation? What is stopping them going from their current situation to their desired situation? And this could be loads of things like motivation or accountability, or they don't understand something specific, or they don't really know what the path ahead is and what to learn in what order. But if we can understand those 3 things, their current situation, their desired situation, and what is stopping them going from A to B, that is going to be the fundamental information that we need to build out a Grand Slam offer for our audience. So how do we find out more information about them? There's 2 really important things to do here. The first is research calls. So this is where you hop on a call with your audience and you ask them about those 3 things. You say, where are you now in your journey? And where do you want to get to? And what is stopping you going from A to B? So you hop on a free call, it could be on Zoom or Google Meets or whatever you use, and you ask them those questions. And you want to get as many calls in the calendar as possible. You want to talk to as many people in your audience as possible, because it's going to help you understand so much about them. Basically, every entrepreneur ever and every startup founder you've heard of will tell you to talk to your customers as much as possible. So this is pretty fundamental. Do lots of research calls and just get as many calls in the calendar as you can. The second thing that we can do is do audience surveys. So this is very simple. You can use a free tool like Google Forms and ask your audience some questions and then share that survey with your audience through your YouTube videos, through your community tab, and via your email list. Those 3 things. And the questions that we ask are going to be about those 3 things again. Where are you now? Where do you want to get to? And what is stopping you going from A to B? And you can shape the questions around those things. Now, through all this data collecting, we're trying to find something called our dream student. So that is my name for target client or ideal customer profile, or all these other names you've heard for this concept. I call it a dream student because we're building an education business. So we have students, and your dream student needs to tick 3 core boxes. And those 3 boxes are that you want to help them, they value your help, and that they can pay. Because if you don't want to help them, then you'll just get bored and annoyed working with them. If they don't value your help, then they won't trust you enough to actually buy from you. And if you do want to work with them and they want your help, but they can't pay for it for whatever reason, then you haven't got a business. So through this audience research, we're trying to find our dream student, someone who ticks those 3 boxes. So now once we found our dream student, then we can come to step 7, which is to create a 100K offer. And the thing we need to learn to do here is we need to learn how to make a Grand Slam offer. Maybe you've heard of Alex Hormozi and his book, $100 Million Offers. Highly recommend reading it for this step. But in short, the main thing you need to do here is to turn all of this information that you've learned about your audience into a really compelling offer for your audience. So it needs to be based around the outcome that they want. A useful analogy to think about here is that we want to sell the destination where people want to get to, and not the journey to that destination. People don't want to buy lots of hard work and course material and checklists and templates and whatever. What they want to buy is the outcome, is the destination that you can help them get to. Whether that's passing their exams or getting really sick at the guitar, growing a YouTube business, or getting a job, we want to sell that outcome. And then we can share information about how we're going to help them get there. Once you've figured out where we're trying to help people go, then we can think about the vehicle, the plane, to help them get there. And these are the 5 things that you can consider for your YouTube channel. So you can sell one-to-one coaching, which is basically where you just work with someone one-to-one. And the second thing is group coaching, which is where you work with multiple people at once. It can be in a cohort, which is like 8 weeks or 12 weeks or something like that. Or it can be an ongoing program where people can constantly enroll whenever they want. The third thing is you can sell a community where people are paying monthly for a monthly subscription. A very good platform for this is School. And the way that this differs from a group coaching program is that primarily you're selling a community and a monthly subscription rather than a program which lasts a certain amount of time and costs like an upfront fee. Then the fourth thing is just an online course. You've probably taken one already, which is just like a bunch of videos, which is going to help you achieve a certain transformation. And then the fifth thing, which only works in some niches, is a done for you service. So if you're helping people get jobs, you could do their applications for them, like a recruitment service, or like Raina helps Americans move to France. She does their visa applications for them. But what all this comes down to in the representation of a Grand Slam offer is typically just a landing page or a sales page where people can go to understand more about how you can help them. But importantly, we don't actually have to make the landing page yet. We just have to understand that that's what we're trying to create. We're trying to imagine, what does this offer look like and what would make it an absolute no-brainer for our audience to say yes. Once we've got that, we can then move on to step 8, which is to launch our offer and measure demand. So a really important principle to bear in mind for this step is to sell, then build, not the other way around, not build, then sell. One of the biggest mistakes that people make in online business is that they spend months building something that people don't want. So they're like, I have an idea for a course. I'm just gonna go away and spend months making this online course, filming all these videos, and then making a landing page, getting all the systems hooked up, and then telling my audience about it. And what happens then typically is that it flops because you didn't do any research, you didn't validate the demand beforehand, and you built it before you sold it. As YouTubers, we've got lots going on. We don't have time to waste. So we sell, then we build. So with that in mind, we wanna move forwards with our offer in a way that's gonna save us the most time. So we've got a few options here depending on what we're thinking of selling. One of them is to launch a waitlist. So if you're launching some kind of cohort, potentially one-to-one coaching, potentially a course, you might want to launch a waitlist because this is going to tell you how much demand there is for that thing. And you don't focus on selling the course, you focus on the outcome that this thing is going to help them get. And the goal here is to get 150 to 200 people or more to sign up to your waitlist. Because if you can't get people to sign up and show interest for free, then you're not going to be able to get them to pay for it. And importantly, for the waitlist, you just have a little landing page where people enter their name and their email to sign up. And then on the thank you page, we're going to include a little survey where we're going to ask them those same 3 questions about where they are now, where they want to get to, and what are their biggest problems. And also what would make this course or program an absolute win for them and a complete no-brainer. And then that data is going to be invaluable in informing the thing that we actually make. Now you can launch a waitlist for anything and it's just going to start building momentum and hype, and it's going to give you that important data whether people are interested at all. But the other option is that if you're selling something high ticket, which is more expensive, so over $1,000 typically, it's probably going to be one-to-one coaching or group coaching, you can go straight to making a landing page with a video and VSL, a video sales letter, where you're explaining what it would look like to work with you, and where the next step is to book a call with you to learn more about what it would look like. Because if you just want to get rolling immediately and start getting calls booked, but you want to tell people about what your offer is and what you're going to help them do, then that's a very efficient way to just get moving as quick as possible. And you just include a link below that to book a call, typically through a software like Calendly, and try to get people to join your program, whether it's a one-to-one thing or a group thing. But a big thing that here that we want to bear in mind is how to launch. So whether you have a wait list or not, there are some fundamentals of launching that are really, really effective. And those 3 things are urgency, scarcity, and noise. So urgency, if you give people a deadline to make a decision by, then it forces them to choose what they want to do. And typically that makes you more money because people have to make a decision rather than just like thinking on it for another few months. Then the second thing is scarcity. So if what you're selling is in limited supply, then people are going to be more likely to join because they get FOMO. People don't want to miss out on stuff. So if there's a date by which they have to buy, and there's also a limited number of spots, then people are going to be way more likely to buy. And then the third thing is noise, because so many YouTubers just don't make enough noise about the thing that they're selling because they feel like their audience might hate them or that they're going to come across as salesy and all this kind of stuff. But you have to just tell people about the thing that you're doing. And most people won't want it. Most people won't want to pay for anything. But 10% of your audience roughly is going to be interested in paying to get more help. So amazing, we've launched something and we've hopefully made a bunch of money. Congratulations. Now we can move on to step 9, which is to deliver to early buyers. And the thing that we need to learn here is we need to learn to fulfill and deliver results. So whatever it is that we're doing, whether it's a course, whether it's coaching, whether it's a community, we need to make it really good and deliver to those initial people that have bought. So we're moving from sales mode into delivery mode, and we're just trying to keep our customers as happy as possible and actually make the thing that we're delivering really, really good. Now, this is reasonably intuitive. We're going to keep this point short, but ultimately just delight your customers. That's a good principle to have in mind. Just delight them. Just do whatever you can to make them as happy as possible and actually get results. Results are the most important thing, because if we can get results, then we can use that as proof that this thing actually works, that more people should join it because they'll be more likely to get the result that they want. So we work really hard, we deliver to these early buyers, we make them super happy in our course, in our coaching, in our community. And then we've got this decision to make, which is step 10. Do we want to refine or retire the offer? And the thing we need to learn to do here is just adapt and iterate. So business can be stressful. We might make the wrong decision. We might launch something that we don't want to do. We might launch something that doesn't really work. Our customers might not be that happy. There are all sorts of things that could go on here. And I just want to include this step because it's the reality of business, that we run loads of different experiments and some work and some don't. And if we decide to retire our offer, we don't want to move ahead with this, then we go back to step 6 and we understand our audience even more and try to find a dream student who ticks those 3 boxes. If we want to help, who values our help and can pay. And we go back through that part of the process. But assuming we want to continue, we found something that we like delivering, that people want, that actually helps people get results, then we'll move on to step 11, which is to develop a world-class product. And we learn to do that by delighting our customers and improving based on feedback. That is the most important part here, is we want to consistently collect feedback from our customers and make a world-class product. We want to make this thing the best in the space for helping people achieve that specific outcome. We want to consistently improve and refine until we're really proud of this thing and we know that it gets results. If it's an online course, that might mean you do your first launch and then before your second launch, where you relaunch your course, you improve it loads based on the initial round of feedback. Or if it's a one-to-one coaching program and you get a bunch of clients to start with, then we want to improve the program before we get another round of clients. It's really important to collect feedback. You might not want to do it. You might want to ask people how their experience was, but it's going to be the thing that allows you to make something that stands the test of time and is really, really good. And once we've got a really good product that delivers results, then we can move on to step 12, which is to collect proof. And the thing we need to learn to do there is to get testimonials and case studies. So we need to get our best customers who have had the most amazing results from working with us and get reviews from them and write up their stories so that potential customers who are considering working with us can just see that they're actually likely to get the result because they can see all of this proof from this product. Whether it's a course, one-to-one coaching or whatever, they can just see the thing works. A good rule to bear in mind in business is that there's almost nothing that works better than proof that your product works and that other people have enjoyed it. Social proof is just the number one thing that people look to for actually being convinced to buy something. And now at this point, we've got a YouTube channel that's working, we've got an email list that's flying, we've got a product that people actually like and has got results as well. Now we can move on to the final part of the process, which is all about scaling. And the next step is just to sell our product continuously, which is to do more of all the things we're already doing. And the thing we need to learn how to do here is to optimize our content and create campaigns. So for optimizing our content, that just means making better YouTube videos and better emails where we're talking more specifically to the person who our offer is for, so that we can try to just bring in more of those people who are going to be interested in working with us. And creating campaigns means that we're just going to run more launches like we did in the past. We're going to try and create these moments in time with lots of energy and lots of hype where we create urgency, scarcity, and lots of noise to get people to buy our thing. For the sake of this video, I'm going to keep it a little bit shorter, but if you're at this step in the process, then download the document in the first link in the description, because I go into a few more things in there about link tracking and about email sequences and things like that. And then step 14 is to commit to one channel and one ecosystem. And the thing that we need to learn to do here is to build an ecosystem. So an ecosystem is just a fun word to describe your world that you're trying to create. We've got your YouTube videos, we've got your emails, we've got your free resources that you've made, your lead magnets, and we've got your core offer. Now you only need one core offer if it's done well to get to 6 figures. But to go beyond that, to go to multi-6 figures, you might want to introduce some new offers to your audience. You might want to have multiple products. So if you've been selling a low ticket course or community, you might want to introduce a high ticket program, or the other way around. If you've been just doing high ticket, something over $1,000, then you might want to introduce a lower ticket item. So it's building out our ecosystem so that there's a real world for all of our audience and all of our potential customers to interact with and engage with and immerse themselves in this topic that you teach at all levels. And now finally, step 15, which is work less. So you've had all the success, your channel's going really well. The thing you need to learn to do here is to automate, eliminate, or delegate. So you need to start getting really clear on what it is that you should be doing inside your business. You need to outsource low leverage work. You need to delete stuff that you shouldn't be doing. And you need to automate systems so that you can achieve more with just your one 1 or 2 person team. Now, the people that you should have in your business, the things that you should outsource, are going to be your video editor, potentially your thumbnail designer, and a personal assistant. If you have those 3 things, you can do so much. You can get to multi 6 figures with just that. Now, outsourcing your video editing is something you're probably going to want to do in step 2 or 3, but just including here because that's what this team looks like at this stage. And now step 16 is to celebrate. So you've made it this far, make sure to take the time to celebrate. It's not easy to do this stuff, but you might have got to the end of this roadmap, the end of this video, and you've been thinking, wow, sounds really overwhelming and there's a lot to do here. And I've got some advice for you on that front. This stuff is hard, but you don't want to approach it like that. We really want to try and embrace this experimental mindset where we're just running loads of experiments at every step of the journey, and we're just focusing on today and doing the next actions that we can take in our business. If we focus on experiments, everything that we do is a little experiment, even me making this video right now is an experiment, then everything just becomes way more fun because we can't fail. We're only learning, we're only iterating on our experiments. We're just seeing what works and what doesn't, and we're just putting one foot in front of the other and stumbling our way forwards. And your journey is probably not going to be exactly like this roadmap. There's a famous saying by some guy called Alfred that the map is not the territory. So it's not going to be exactly like this. This is just a model to represent what typical journey looks like. But you're just going to be stumbling away forwards. And that's exactly how business is supposed to be. That's how YouTube is supposed to be. You just don't know what you're doing all the time. And I still don't really know what I'm doing all the time. I just fumble my way forwards and I try to follow what I think makes sense, follow important principles, and just stick to the basics as much as I can. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, just focus on today, focus on the one next step. And look at this diagram here, because this diagram, you should print it off and put it in front of your computer and look at it every single day. Because if you do this, then your life will be so much simpler. It means just do one thing and do it super, super well. So that's long form YouTube videos, your email list, and your offer. You don't need to do anything else. You don't need to make a podcast. You don't need to make short form content. You don't need to post on TikTok or post on Instagram. You don't need to run ads or have a Patreon, all these different things. You just need to do long form YouTube videos, your email, and your offer. And that's what all the most successful YouTubers that I work with do. And if you are interested in learning more about what it looks like to work with me, then you can click the link in the description. But if not, then in this video here, I go through the best and worst ways to monetize on YouTube. So you might want to check out that video. Thanks for watching.